Okay, today we are checking in with the heroine, really, of the Rio 2016 Olympics. She's a Commonwealth gold medalist, a European gold medalist, an Olympic champion. She's the one and only Maddie Mad Dog Hinch. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. All the better for speaking to you. How is your lockdown going and how are you spending it? Where are you?
So I'm at my home in Maidenhead, and yeah, I'm doing all right. I've been asked this question an awful lot of times, and my reaction is kind of a bit mixed. Disappointed with how things have panned out. Obviously, the excitement was really starting to build towards the games, and then it was like boom, like taken away immediately. But then with that, in turn, we've been able to sit still for a little bit, and I think as an athlete, that's really rare to have time on your hands to kind of really invest in your training. So I'm blessed with the setup I have here, thanks to sponsors. They've kitted out my gym, kitted out my garage into a gym, sorry. And so I've just been able to really enjoy taking on some new training challenges and not be rushed. And so part of me is really enjoying it and feel very grateful to have the time to invest in these sort of areas. So mixed emotions really, and just doing the best to kind of stay safe and stay home really.
Taking a break from sort of the constant cycle of top level hockey is something you've done before. I know sort of after the Olympics and all that excitement, you took a sort of 7 month period out. Is that something you feel quite passionate about advocating for other athletes, and actually just having a little break from competition, whether by choice or enforced by a global pandemic, is something that can really do you good?
Oh, 100%. I think, again, as an athlete, it's quite difficult to step away from something that's very much the norm and that you're very used to. So for me, to make that decision was not at all easy, but without doubt, the best decision at exactly the right time. I was tired, I needed a mental break, I was heading in completely the wrong direction. So my ability to have time to step back and reassess my goals and why I was doing it, my absolute why I was in the game, was incredibly important. And with that, I feel like it's only going to extend my career, and I found my love for the sport again. And you can't play at this level unless you are hugely passionate about it and look forward to getting up every morning and training. And that's thankfully where I'm back to now.
So your garage has become a gym. What have
Yeah.
you got in there, and what new things have you been doing that maybe you don't already ordinarily do as part of your training?
So I've got almost everything I need, weights, rack, a watt bike, which is incredibly lucky. They're really hard to get a hold of. And for me, I'm not a runner. As a goalkeeper, I don't like running at all. And I've not really, again, had time to invest in my conditioning side of things. It's kind of gets put to the side a little bit, and it's something that I feel is incredibly important for goalkeepers. So for me, I've really enjoyed getting on the bike. We've been using the app called Zwift, which is something that I'm new to as a house, actually, because I live with two of the men's players at the minute. And so we've all been getting into that, taking on different challenges, writing it on the whiteboard, who gets times. And again, it's just fun. Adding an element of fun and competitiveness to our training is makes it so much more enjoyable. So yeah, really getting stuck into it, enjoying kind of seeing the gains now, because again, I've been doing this for 5-6 weeks, and so really starting to feel the benefit, which is nice. And when you get to that stage, it really encourages you to carry on doing it.
Yeah, you can't help but think there might be a few people kind of coming out of quarantine being like, oh my God, look at me. I've like,
Yeah.
Twitter or the rest of it. It must be quite useful, really, then, I suppose, being on lockdown with two other players in terms of keeping yourself motivated, because as driven as you are, just inherently, I suppose, when the uncertainties around as to when you'll play again, it could be quite easy, couldn't it, to lose that sense of motivation.
100%. And don't get me wrong, it's not been a case of every morning I'm super excited to get up and not go to the hockey pitch. I've had days where, in fact, I had a bit of a week really where I started to lose my motivation and just be a bit like, okay, this is fun, but why am I doing it if I can't even put down when I'm going to be next playing or when we're next going to have a competitive game. And then again, we've been really blessed with these kind of virtual webinars and Zooms to reach out to a number of people that I've not actually had the chance to ever had the time to speak to. And with that, I was speaking to a mental mindset coach, and she spoke a lot about the importance of routine and really sticking to that. So one thing I think that can really throw you off your game in the day is your phone. So you can wake up in the morning, start scrolling, and all of a sudden your plans for that morning are like, oh, well, I actually need to talk to so-and-so, or actually I need to go and do this. So I'm trying really hard now to put the phone away as soon as I wake up and make sure I achieve everything that I want to as an athlete, because essentially that is my job, you know, in the morning. So then you get to midday, lunchtime, and you're like, okay, well, what else can I do? And kind of do that with ease. So routine has been really, really important, and I'm enjoying having a bit more structure now back to it, because it's like you say, it's very easy to just be like, I don't fancy it today, and then it can, you know, catch up with you over time.
That dangerous first thing in the morning scroll as well, you can lose hours of your life that way. So what have you been doing with your afternoons then, when the training is done, the what bike has tortured you as it needs to? What have you been filling your afternoons with?
Well, I have a little dog, so she keeps me entertained, definitely, in the garden, just playing with her. And then again, getting into little things like, I love coffee, and I've got a proper coffee machine here, so I've been trying desperately to learn how to do latte art and stuff, failing miserably. And yeah, not much really. I've got some really, really exciting plans in terms of the goalkeeper coaching side of things that I deliver. So I've been capturing content for that, and this year we've got a massive project that is a little bit secret, but I'm really, really excited what the future holds with that. And so I've just been getting my head stuck into that. Again, I've never had the time to finally be like, right, let's put this all on paper and see it come to life. So I'm really grateful for that right now, and I've enjoyed it.
In terms of the goalkeeper training and drills and stuff, you've been putting some of them up on your Instagram, and I've never seen the technique of a goalie broken down so clearly and in such an easy to follow way as well. Because when you watch hockey and you look at the goalie, it's, you know, you're flying everywhere stopping those balls, but there are of course real elements of technique and skill that can make you as effective as possible, and it's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to give a little bit of a snippet into, goalkeeping as a whole. It's not something that, again, I've really shared much of, and I kind of regret not doing that. I feel like I've got plenty out there to share with everyone. It's just a case of, again, having the time to capture that content and share it in a good way. So I was really kind of shocked by the response and how well it went down, and the amount of people saving the content and wanting to know more information, which again gives me a lot of belief that when I do come to share more of this when my career ends, that it's, you know, it's going to be stuff that people want to see. And I think goalkeeping is still a pretty unknown position in many sports, not just hockey. So I'm going to do my best to kind of share what I believe it's all about. And I think what's really surprised a lot of people is actually the athleticism behind it, and how fit and strong you need to be. And it's not just a case of standing there and getting hit.
Which always used to be sort of the attitude towards being goalie. I know I definitely had at school. It was like, oh, we need a goalie. No one would ever put their hands up. So hopefully you're changing the perception of it. Let's talk then about what your initial plans were for this year. Of course, Team GB looking to defend an Olympic gold medal out of the Tokyo Games. That's now been pushed to next year. How have you coped with that change? Because I imagine everything you've done for the last year, 18 months or so, has been gearing up to peak come this summer.
Yeah, again, a slightly mixed feeling. I think initially when it was all kind of blowing up and it was like things were getting cancelled left, right and centre, it was like, oh my goodness, what happens if they actually just don't have it? Like, just cancel the whole event. And I think that was the sleepless nights at the beginning, just waiting for someone to give us an answer. It's like, okay, if it's going to be delayed, when till? If it's going to be a whole year, or are they going to cancel it? So that uncertainty at the beginning, I think, was the most difficult part. When the announcement came out nice and early, which we were all incredibly grateful for, really, that they were going to just delay it a whole year, I think, okay, really disappointing, but the best case out of what is a terrible scenario, and I think it was absolutely the right decision. Giving us a whole year to kind of reassess and replan is helpful, and I think from a squad point of view, it kind of suits us. We're quite a young team. We're still finding our feet with our coach, and I think another year under him is only going to be beneficial. And so for me, it's just staying fit, albeit obviously even older at this game. So I just got to look after my body, and I'm grateful to have a little bit more time since coming back to this group with them, to again just find my role in that team and just make it stronger than ever.
So what would your this time of year be looking like usually for you? I guess by this point you'd be with Team GB, with England, and
yeah,
looking ahead to the Olympics before the return of the Dutch league later on in the year, which again potentially still up in the air.
Yeah, so I mean, right now I think we would just be coming towards the end of the Pro League, which was, again, we were only 3 games into that. We still have like 10 games, which hopefully we're going to be able to wrap up at some stage. And I was actually catching up with the coaches the other day, and we were saying, actually, I think selection would have been now 4 or 5 weeks away. So obviously that is the number one focus for all of us. It's making sure your name is on that team sheet, and then you can really kind of enjoy the build into the game. So right now it would have been an incredibly tense period. I would have had to be playing at my very best. I would have had to be in my best shape, and yeah, I know what that period feels like, having done it going into Rio, and it's intense. So a very different scenario right now, which I never saw coming.
There's been quite a lot about hockey actually in the media over the last couple of weeks. Investec announcing that they won't be sort of sponsoring past this summer, which was the end initially of what should have been the Olympic cycle. And there's been, as well as everything when sports are kind of forced to pause and take stock a little bit, a lot of people discussing what England hockey could maybe be doing better or stronger. What improvements or changes do you think there need to be to the game to ensure that, you know, the legacy of 2016 continues and the sport builds?
It's such a difficult question. It's something that is almost completely out of my hands, and we rely quite heavily on our organisation doing the right things. I think our partnership with Investec was an incredibly strong one for so many years, and them stepping aside is not come at a surprise. I think it's just the time has come. It opens up now an unbelievable space on our shirts to get involved with the current Olympic champions. So for us, it's like, okay, who's hopefully going to be knocking? I think, you know, at the end of the day, women's sport is growing and growing and growing, which is exactly what we want. So it's now almost even more competitive to say to brands, hey, come on, come join what we're doing, because, you know, you got your netball, your rugby, your football, all kind of taking off, which is what we want. So for us as athletes, I think it's just our job, as I try to do through my reach, to just show what it's all about, how great the game is, goalkeeping in particular, and then leave it to the organisations and the FIH to kind of do their role to grow the game and get it seen by as many people as possible. Because I think that, as Rio showed, when it's there at its prime, it grabs the nation's attention, and for us it's just trying to fight for that space and show everyone what it's all about and how fantastic a sport it is.
Absolutely, and we'll be hoping for a repeat of that success, although maybe in slightly less dramatic fashion.
I hope so.
Next year. So Maddie, you know, you've spoken to us this morning. What does the rest of the day look like for you then? What are you going to get up to on, I think it's Tuesday that we're speaking to each other, but at this point, who knows? Yeah,
I mean, it's Tuesday even a day anymore, who knows? Today, a few Zoom calls, a little bit of training, still got another session to do, quite a chilled one, and they're going to do a little bit of baking. And yeah, just a nice relaxed day. The weather's not too bad, so I'll probably be outside in the garden with Willow, the dog. Yeah, just see how the day takes me. No real pressure, which I'm enjoying, but I'll definitely get my couple of sessions done.
The fitness is the priority. What's your top tip before I let you go for the young hockey players who are maybe been stuck at home for a few weeks now and are going a little bit stir crazy? What can they be doing that's not going to break anything to practice their skills?
For a goalkeeper, again, it's eyes. Your eyes are everything. It's almost like the one part of our body that we forget to train. It's all about movements and stuff, but unless we see the ball clearly, it's pointless. So you can actually do huge amounts of work by just kind of like juggling a ball, you know, changing the colours of the ball, getting someone to say to you, catch the pink, not the reds, those sort of things that really just get your eyes working. There's plenty of stuff you can do, which is kind of what I'm focusing on. And I'm not choosing to be in my pads on purpose, because again, I've got the time finally to work on these little things that over time will make a huge difference.
Brilliant tip. Maddie, thank you so much. Take good care and stay safe.
And you. Bye.